Today, we will be conducting an analysis of this InvestingPro tool directly from investing.com. This is a tool that will assist us as investors in making more informed decisions, and I will demonstrate everything it offers to determine if it is worthwhile for you. First of all, I'm going to leave a link in the description along with a code to get an additional 15% discount, making it extremely affordable for you. The code remains More Finances, and I'll maintain it unchanged in the video description. Upon entering, you'll observe the annual or biennial subscription options, which present the most advantageous deals since a lengthier subscription results in a more substantial discount. Another significant aspect is that in this initial option right here, depending on your current location while watching me, if you click on the provided link, it might be displayed in various languages. Firstly, and secondly, it will appear according to the specific country you are located in. For instance, if you are situated in the United States, it will present you with an AI ProPicks strategy that will educate you on what this entails, specifically tailored for the United States market, or for the Mexican market, or for the Colombian market, or for the Spanish market, or for the market. Well, etc, etc, but this depends on where you access the link from, where you are. But what will not change is that we will definitely be given these 6 ProPicks strategies for the US market, 50 warrant consultations, pro research reports, and everything that appears here. We will be looking at this later. Now we're going to show you exactly how the platform works, and once you log in, you can change the language in the top right corner. In this case, I'll leave it in Spanish, but I'll still be here talking and explaining everything to you. Initially, on the left-hand side, we discover a watch list crafted for monitoring stocks by examining what all these indicators are displaying here, such as the current price, target price, fair value, value label, fair value once more, global label, market capitalization, dividend per share, whether it delivers or not, dividend yield, strength index, and well, we could continue examining all this that appears here, but let's return here to ideas where the engaging part begins from this point downwards. The first aspect with ideas is that you can filter directly by portfolios of quite renowned investors or investment funds, and you can do it in the following manner. For instance, you desire the return in the last year to be between 38 and 50%, so here it will display precisely assets or funds that are investing and have had returns, in this case in the last year, of 38 to 50%. But for instance, here it displays directly the 3-year return, then the number of participants, which signifies the number of stocks these funds or these investors possess. So if you don't wish to invest in numerous things, you want to concentrate on very few stocks, then you set it from 0 to 20. Let's see if any appear. Then look, this one here appears that with only 7 assets, it has had a return of 223.4 in the last 3 years. So what can you do? You enter directly into this one and you will see directly what it is investing in and what percentage of this portfolio is invested in each of these stocks. Then you can observe what it is investing in and also a direct comparison with the market, in this case with the S&P 500, and we can see in detail how this investment has performed versus the S&P 500, which as you see is clearly outperforming the SP. Now here you find more details, and in the end, if what you wish to do is track it to see how it progresses, you simply click up here on the right where it says Add to Watch List. We click Yes. We want to initiate a new list to specifically track these stocks, and here what will occur is that look, all the lists appear to you. For instance, I have another one of Warren Buffett. I click and only Warren Buffett's stocks appear to me. Then the lists of this one we just selected appear, and as you see here, the same information that appeared before appears again, so you can constantly track it. So this essentially, as its name suggests, are investment ideas, and we can realize what is currently effective, what the large corporations are investing in, the prominent investors. For instance, look at this one here, more than 1281% in the last 3 years. I mean, look, but in the last 3 years, we would have to see how it is currently and what it is investing in. So here is where you enter and look. Well, and why? For instance, this Carvana. Why does it have 80% there, and why did it grow so much? And that's where the investment idea is generated, where you might not be realizing these kinds of things, and here you clearly can do it. For instance, if you don't want to go so far and want to go to something more recent, you choose in the last month something that has had a very high return, for instance 44 to 50%. Let's see if there is something in this case. There isn't. It would be surprising in the last month, but well, let's go down a bit more to see if we can find here. Yes, look, these are here and they have very few assets because we precisely filtered it. That was the subsequent aspect I intended to demonstrate to you, which is that for each individual stock, we are able to locate news, dividends, results, and the fundamental aspects to thoroughly analyze it. Indeed, we can additionally compare it with another stock in a similar manner to observe how it is performing in relation to others within the same sector, for instance, against eToro. And well, there's also the matter of news, which is precisely what I adore, uncovering ideas. Because ultimately one always gravitates towards what one prefers, towards what one invests in, and occasionally there are other things we might not possess the greatest knowledge about, but that we can discover through this. Subsequently, we proceed to ProPicks IA, which is exactly what has provided us with 6 distinct ProPicks IA strategies specifically tailored for the United States market, along with one for the local market where you are presently situated. Well, so what precisely is this? I refer to it as something similar to a private investigator to express it in one way, and what it essentially accomplishes is to gather and compile the strategies that major corporations or significant market players are presently utilizing. So what exactly are we aiming to understand with this? For instance, there's this subject concerning technology giants, which is specifically rooted in the technology sector. What you have the ability to do here is click to view, and it will provide you with a monthly assortment of stocks that are presently performing exceptionally well, and in this context, you can make informed decisions based on this information. Here, directly, is the comprehensive report, for instance, this particular one from Data do Informe Pro, and what it will deliver here is precisely the detailed report about this action, why they are prominently featuring it here, why it is being selected among these technology titans, and what we can anticipate in the future for investment opportunities. Clearly, it's not merely about you entering and assuming that since all these stocks are presented here, you are going to invest in each and every one of them because you are certain to succeed. I'm not asserting that you won't, because indeed we can observe that the return over a span of 12 years has exceeded 23.73, and furthermore the annualized return is 29.2, which is also quite favorable considering these are stocks provided to us on a monthly basis. In other words, we don't have to do anything beyond paying the membership fee. What occurs month after month is that they deliver this thoroughly updated report and it arrives directly to you, allowing you to maximize its potential based on your specific desires and objectives. For instance, if you are not inclined to invest within the United States, what you would do is, well, you might consider examining the Mexican Stock Exchange to ascertain what is transpiring there. You enter and then scrutinize which assets in Mexico are currently exhibiting the best performance and yielding the highest returns. Based on this comprehensive information, you can make numerous decisions. It's akin to what I mentioned initially. It's comparable to being a private investigator. You don't have to search elsewhere or anything of that nature. Here, the information is provided directly to you. You can filter it directly by markets, allowing you to choose Brazil, Canada, Germany, and so forth, or concentrate directly if you wish on a specific sector. Here, it will be categorized by sectors to assist you in making more informed decisions. In fact, further down, it instructs us on how to maximize the benefits of ProPicks. So initially, choose your strategy, select a strategy that aligns with your objectives, risk preferences, and comfort level. Within all of this comprehensive information, we must select the strategy that we believe aligns most effectively with our objectives. For instance, if you are an individual who prefers to engage in value investing, then if your intention is to invest in Spain, you have this particular strategy available here. If your goal is to aim slightly higher than the S&P 500, then there's this alternative strategy over here. If you genuinely have a strong interest in the subject of technology giants, specifically contemporary technology, you can effortlessly enter and explore the portfolio available here to observe what investments are currently being made, along with all the comprehensive data we can access to perform an in-depth analysis on this topic. I apologize if I don't go into much depth on each of these, but if you are interested in the topic I'm discussing, please leave a comment and I'll provide more details once you access the portfolio and a specific stock, explaining how to analyze each of the concepts presented here for better understanding. But well, once we have this, use it to generate ideas, focus on the new added values each month, conduct an in-depth analysis, study the fundamentals, compare with other market players, use that premium information such as the fair value or the company's health score, and then AI-based trading, choose the stocks that match your preferences and add them to your portfolio. You can also follow the strategies one by one and check the monthly updates to match their performance. That's basically it. So, month by month, what you can do is come here, enter X the best of buffet, then see what has been updated in these stocks, what has happened, how everything is going, the entire portfolio of this strategy, and that's it, as simple as that. And as I was telling you, with the subscription, they bring you a strategy monthly for the market you are currently in. For example, if you subscribe from Spain, then for Spain, for Mexico, then for Mexico, and so on, from Canada, for Canada, etc. Then these are firmly established, and they represent the 6 strategies of the United States market, which is indeed the largest globally. In this context, the filter could genuinely also resemble concepts, but it is primarily to discover stocks that fulfill specific criteria you desire. For instance, if you are interested in locating a stock based on market capitalization exceeding $250 million, you simply configure it right there. Conversely, if you prefer it to be lower, you adjust it here. But if you desire the dividend yield to be greater than 5%, you configure it over here. Naturally, depending on your preferences, you will discover stocks from various markets that you might not have been considering. This significantly aids in filtering to identify stocks with specific conditions you desire. For example, this is extremely beneficial if you aim to construct a 100% dividend portfolio. You can commence searching for stocks that you might not have been considering, and you don't necessarily want the conventional dividend aristocrats, those that have been established the longest, correct? If you want the ones delivering the highest percentage, well, you can filter that here. Then in the Data Explorer, this is indeed the most, while simple, also the most comprehensive. What do I mean by that? Well, it is essentially about conducting a search and subsequently performing an analysis, signifying that this is practically a pathway once you are in ProPicks and wish to analyze a stock you have discovered. For instance, let's briefly navigate to Apple's stock in its current state. So we enter Apple's stock as it is, incorporated here, and then we proceed to add precisely what we desire to analyze, such as dividend growth. Based on this information, there is no necessity to conduct a search on Google or any other platform. Instead, we can directly observe how Apple's dividend growth has progressed over the past several years. Here, we observe a concise summary of the performance. Apple's dividend growth rate over the past 12 months stands at 8.3%. The growth for Apple's fiscal years concluding in September 2020 through 2024, spanning the last 4 years, has been 5.4%. This illustrates how the growth has unfolded, specifically indicating how much they typically distribute per share. In 2020, it was 0.82. In 2021, it rose to 0.88, and the growth compared to these figures. This is one of the numerous indicators we could discover here. We also have the EBITDA to ascertain if it's a sound investment or not. You would specifically evaluate each of these to determine if it's worthwhile. There's a wealth of information here, not only what we observe in the metrics, but also through dividend valuation. It's not solely about dividend growth, but also the dividend dates, such as the announcement date of the last dividend, which was May 1st, 2025. These are data that we would otherwise search for on the internet, but they can be somewhat intricate to find. Then we proceed to charts, and here we can also conduct an analysis more akin to trading. You can incorporate the 200-day moving average, examine the revenue, and add this. You can do it directly based on a company. To shift focus from Apple, let's concentrate on Tesla. We can compare all of this, for instance, between revenue and profit, gross profit, and observe how it has been. Compare gross profit versus revenue itself, and based on this, it's all about making informed decisions. We also have fundamentals here, but this is something you can do directly. In this video, I'm providing a very general overview. Now, after saving this work, let's proceed to Warren and analyze this artificial intelligence tool, which I believe is the best, and why the majority of individuals prefer to pay for this Pro version, which offers us 500 queries a month while the Pro only provides us 50. So why is this advantageous? Because what this tool accomplishes is the analysis of particular stocks through the utilization of artificial intelligence. For instance, it informs us to discover what Warren can offer for you. Market trends, results and fundamental data, technical analysis perspectives, insights from watch lists, news screener, and so on and so forth. For example, something occurred recently with Tesla. So let's delve into the reasons behind Tesla's volatility that happened yesterday. And listen, what I am saying is, you don't have to be an expert in prompt to effectively express, well, you should approach it in this way. Remember to keep this in mind, right? It directly gives us the data without us having to ask. Very simple, like talking to an expert. Let us articulate it in this manner. As I previously mentioned, in this particular field, I worked as a private investigator. The subject of ProPicks AI concerning the Warren issue is akin to having a professional investor friend perpetually accessible. It informs us that in the year 2025, approximately 3 days ago, they experienced an 8% decline following the announcement of a new political party. This prompted inquiries regarding whether their focus is consistent and if this could potentially impact Tesla's management. Then today, the stock recovered by 4.6% and managed to close flat, reflecting a technical rebound after Monday's overselling and some technical optimism. Short-term indicators exhibit buy signals with the relative strength index at 63.6, the moving average convergence divergence positive, and numerous moving averages in buy mode. Thus, we can observe that it offers us comprehensive details without requiring us to search for them, and if we wish to explore further, that's when it truly becomes beneficial. Therefore, we might inquire of it, as I mentioned, akin to consulting a friend regarding what might transpire with this particular stock in the near term. Do you envision its value increasing, or what results might we expect? In this situation, it shall furnish us with comprehensive information based on data, drawing from all the data that Investing holds, as it is particularly focused on investing. Once it indicates that in the short term, Tesla demonstrates a technical recovery, today it ascends by 4.7% to reach 309.75 after having decreased by 7.5% on Monday and accumulating a 21% decline in the year 2025. Nevertheless, the consensus among financial analysts suggests limited potential, with the fair value calculated at 269, which is below the current price, and the average target of analysts is 304.90. Therefore, it directly informs us of what to anticipate, then a possible continuation of the rebound and a risk of correction. Thus, in my perspective and the way I perceive this, surely Tesla might not be a very good investment at this moment in the short term. That's where we would need to be analyzing other factors. And again, it's like, let's say, completely changing the topic. Tell me 5 ETFs to invest in that have a very good dividend, and we simply input it. And again, it will investigate among all the ETFs and provide us with the information of the dividends of these ETFs. And if we don't like it, we can change it. Look here directly. It is already giving us, this is excellent. I think it's superb. That's where you should already say, like, no, I don't like the dividend. Well, this ETF from Connie, I want another one. Then change it for another. For instance, let's do it here. I'm utilizing my token, so to speak, my credits. So well, I'm going to change it so you can see how it works. It says no me gusta. The ETF, for instance, the TSLI one associated with Tesla, so modify it for a different one. It will formulate the strategy anew, but based on altering that ETF since we didn't favor it. So now excluding the top dividend, the list would appear like this, and it transitions the ETF directly to this one, PLTI. I believe that wasn't present earlier. Oh well, yes, it was indeed there. It switched it to IMEX. Yes, it incorporated IMEX, and that's where you can say, well, now inform me which sector each one concentrates on and what the expectations are by the conclusion of 2025. And then we would merely have to await its response, and based on that, we would proceed here to explore, filter, and observe what transpires with this. So observe where it invests here. Exposure to electric, gas, and defensive, option strategy, high volatility, based on options, less diversified here in utilities, commodities, multi-asset consumption, strategy, perspective, defensive sector. If rates decline, utilities might regain attractiveness, but be cautious about the sustainability of the yield. So once more, here we present a comprehensive summary based on data. Why is this advantageous, and why might certain individuals express no, but I'd prefer to invest through ChatGPT and request information from ChatGPT? Because quite frequently, ChatGPT, Cloud, Gemini, and all these artificial intelligences are fundamentally reliant on information they discover across the internet without thoroughly verifying it. Here, what we possess is authentic data, current data, information on what is transpiring in recent days to enable us to extract insights and based on that make informed investment decisions. Well, this has been, let's say, an exhaustive analysis of InvestingPro to ascertain if it is genuinely worth the investment or not. In my opinion, it is indeed absolutely worth it due to the extensive array of tools it provides, and I firmly believe that simply with the monthly updates on investments and keeping that list updated on how things are progressing while also offering investment opportunities, it is already quite worthwhile. Just from this alone, if you take it and invest, adopt an investment strategy based on your investor profile, you will recover the money you invest in this membership. So, I'll leave the link in the description, and that's how InvestingPro operates in its entirety. See you later, goodbye, and farewell.